Hello, everyone, and welcome to RGL. We've got a whole new season ahead of us, season 18, which is crazy to think about. It's insane that we've already had 18 seasons of a RGL, and hopefully, it's going to be an amazing season on our hands. We've got hopefully a really great game tonight, going to be Global Clan versus Fjord Gaming. I don't know if I'm necessarily saying that correctly. They've got the Fjord. There we go. You got the Swedish, I guess, pronunciation going on there. It's not necessarily the American F-150 that we all know and love, but hopefully they'll be able to do a type of similar performance. My name's T. Simeno. I am joined by M117 on the mic tonight. We got Dolphin, as always, on production. And M1, obviously, how you doing? And are you excited for a whole nother season of Invite TF2?
Yeah, thanks for having me tonight, of course. It's going to be great to see a new invite season. These teams are going to be really interesting. Some of these players I didn't expect to be playing with each other, and then, we got some returning players, some new players, a lot of different faces. So I'm really curious to see how the teams and the roles just play out in general. Global Clan versus Fjord Gaming, and we're going to be on process for tonight.
Yep, we are going to be on a process. I believe Global Clan was the home team, so they got the final say on what the map actually was. And if you're thinking, all right, I've heard both of these team names before. Fjord obviously comes from Ford Gaming, and Global Clan has had a lot of iterations over its kind of very storied career as a organization in TF2. You might be thinking, well, what what are these rosters actually like? Who's on these teams? We can run them down for you, as it may be, it's the first time in the season, and these aren't kind of legacy teams that have been coming over from the previous. So it's going to be, like you said, some new players and some new interesting amalgamations of kind of squadrons that we've seen before. So running down Global Clan, it's going to be Soar on Flank Scout, Perfection on Pocket Scout, kind of making his return after a while away. Taz is going to be on Roaming Soldier. You've got Quacks on Pocket Soldier. Kira is going to be the demo, and Dank is going to be on Medic if you want to run down Ford Gaming.
Yeah, and for Fjord, we have Deadly Seed Flank Scout, and it's going to be Necro on Combo Scout tonight, Alexandros on Roamer, Pineapple on Pocket Soldier, Sin Karma on Demo, and Cronington Magoo, aka Bear, on Demo. Or Medic, excuse me. Oh, it's going to be Yosh on Demo, excuse me, sorry about that.
No worries. And yeah, I mean, both of these teams, they've got a lot of players. I think most of these guys have played Invite before. I'm trying to look and see if there's any that really haven't. I don't think so. So they've all got Invite experience. And a lot actually have had a kind of top level Invite experience as well. I think more recently, funnily enough, is going to be some of the Global Clan guys. Soar, just his Invite debut with, I believe it was the Wall. They got second, which is really great for an invite debut in this kind of a setting where there's such a skill gap between the bottom and top of invite. So to be able to come in immediately on your first season and get second place, really, really impressive. And then obviously next season with the Cell, another high level invite team and a very stacked competitive environment. You've also got Dank, who's been on a few Global Clan kind of a dot hog teams as well. Same thing with Quacks, who was on, I believe, another Global Clan team, or maybe they're Witness Gaming, who got second over the course. So they've got some experience. You've got Taz, who's kind of an up and comer, I would say, in Perfection, who's been around a while, but I don't think has really played at a high level team as a maybe some of his other teammates have done. But he's got a lot of skills, sorry, a lot of talent, and he's kind of a pug demon. So we're gonna have to see if he's gonna be able to translate that over to this game tonight.
Yeah, when I look at newer players, there's a couple of players like you said. Taz is it's maybe like his second season if I remember correctly, but Kira has Invite Highlander experience, but I don't really think I've ever seen Kira in Invite Sixes, so that's going to I think this is Invite Sixes DPU. Not 100% sure on that, but yeah. Besides that, most of the other people have at least played one season of Invite, I believe so, and some of them played quite a few. Perfection hasn't played in a while, but is back tonight, so expect to see some. I'm actually not sure what we're gonna see considering it's been so many years, but gonna be some Hopefully a good game tonight. That's what we're looking forward to.
Yeah, it hopefully should be a really good game. And if you're kind of, thinking to yourself, all right, about these teams, where are they in the grand scheme of, everyone else that's playing this season? Like, what does this season look like? It's I think it's going to be really up in the air. Obviously, you've still got your top dogs. You've got Froyotech, who are probably a shoe-in, even with their maybe not as spectacular performance at the most recent LAN. I think they still look very strong. They're probably a shoe-in, I would say, for playoffs, grand finals, I would also assume. You've also got Jimny, who are kind of returning as well from last season. They've got a little bit of a modified roster, kind of changing a few things up, kind of adding some people in, but it's still a very strong core of players who have been at the top level of Invite for seasons upon seasons now. Then you've also got Mama's Boys, which is a kind of an amalgamation of the BLT team, which went to LAN, and also some of the remnants of Leica G6. So that is kind of your three kind of top players in Invite. And then, of course, you got the two advanced move-up teams, which are going to be Ninjago and Palace Cats, which I think are also playing tonight, which should also be a very, very good game. But that kind of leaves a little open spot for that fourth place team because, this is a LAN season, and one which is kind of crazy. We just had a LAN only like a couple weeks ago, and we've already got to get ourselves, kind of wipe the slate clean, get ready for a whole new LAN experience, which is what these guys are going to be playing for. All these guys, they want to be that fourth spot team, maybe even third. Ideally, you want to win, but going up against those big dogs is going to be a lot harder. So getting fourth spot going to be the goal for a lot of these teams. And I think when you look at it, there's some kind of even squads, and I think it's really going to be extremely close, especially for that last fourth place spot going into playoffs.
Yeah, I like you said, I think those first three teams are pretty much the favorites for Froyo, Jiminy, and Mama's Boys. I think they're all going to be the favorites for the, making it to LAN. But yeah, I think that fourth seed is going to be really up in the air. Based on what I'm currently looking at, I think I would favor Global Clan slightly, and I would favor Global Clan slightly in this match tonight. But I don't think Fjord is bad either, and I think this definitely could go the way of Fjord. It's definitely not set in stone at all. I'm curious to see what the two teams have in store because I know some of these players have also played together on both of these teams, but definitely not all of them consistently. So there's a bit of jumbling up rosters. So I wonder if that jumbling up and combining of rosters, and I wonder if that's going to cause any potential really good coordination or maybe less good coordination. It could be anything. Sometimes players just click together. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. You never know what's going to happen. So it very much is not set in stone, and we'll hopefully have a good game tonight to give a little bit of an insight onto who might make it to LAN.
Yeah, very excited to see. One thing I am kind of looking out for is maybe some sniper action, maybe specifically from Perfection, because I kind of remember he was maybe a little bit of a sniping demon when he used to play Pugs a lot. But process super duper open. You can have a sniper, but aside from that, all these teams are kind of a mystery. It's their first opportunity to really show us who they are and what they've got in store. And obviously, a win tonight, a dominant win, would really help them kind of solidify their slot and kind of going to prove themselves to everyone else in the league that they are the team to beat if you want to make it into playoffs. If you are kind of one of those bubble teams that are mid-invite, not super low down, but not one of the top three like we mentioned. And a win here, a dominant win, could kind of solidify that spot and say, hey, you got to beat us if you want to try and make playoffs and go to LAN. So it's going to be also really great for morale. You always want to start this season off with a victory if you can help it. But I'm going to press you for predictions really quick as we do have some of the teams readying up.
Yeah, we're already going live into this first mid shortly. I think I'm going to have to go Global Clan 4-3 tonight. I don't think it's going to be a full 5 rounds, but I am curious to see what we have going on. I don't know what you think, but yeah, I'm thinking 4-3 Global Clan as we're into the first mid.
We are into the first mid immediately. Taz is going to go into the enemy team's IT. Kira does get bombed, but he's going to be able to back up. Taz just lurking there, going to be able to get some nice spam damage off. We do have a big bomb coming in. Going to be committing on, gets onto Bear, a.k.a. Crunchington Magoo. and he is going to be taken down now for Global Clan. They have to make sure they keep Dank alive. Dank, a really, really good medic, played at the high level, and he's immediately backed up over towards Choke. He's got a lot of people blocking him, and you can see the soldiers over on the high ground. Pineapple and Alexander's just trying to see if there's maybe any way that they can get in onto Dank, but no, they're not going to be able to do so. They are just going to back out. They're going to cut their losses. They're all pretty weak health points, and that is going to be the first mid-win for Global Clan.
Yeah, as soon as Dank really well played. As soon as as soon as Bear went down, he already tucked his way into sewer, and Fjord just realized they had no real chance of getting in because they wanted to all-in collapse. But we're having a little bit of a delay fight into second because we know Global Clan has an Uber ad here, and the players on Fjord were not healthy because Bear had died. So there's not going to be anything there. Although Global Clan has to go fast because they only have a small Uber ad. They're going to run their way through one quickly. They still have not used. They finally do use pretty late, although it's just Perfection on the cap. Perfection gets dropped by Dank. There is still a soldier in heaven, but it's one down already. About to be two down, maybe. Players on Global Clan very low. And this is looking very tough for Global Clan, although they do get a pick, but they do lose Quacks there. So they're probably going to, they're going to spell their way out of there. And now it's a 80% Uber ad for Fjord.
It is, and they already have Alexandros lurking his way through IT, making a lot of space for the team. They're not going to actually have to use because of it, and now they are going to bomb over towards Choke. Soar might be caught in, but no, it's actually going to be Taz who goes down, trades out for Pineapple, and that's going to be okay. Seems like Global Clan, if they want to try and fight this Soar, kind of going, maybe trying to go for a back cap right here. They have to block the point. If he's going to commit for it, they do. He is going to go into the point. Is he going to be able to capture in time? And he does. And Global Clan, the first match of the season that we've seen so far, the first match in general has been a first round decided with a back cap, really heads up play from Sword, but also the soldiers for Global Clan to jump in, block that second cap up. They also got the force, even if that back cap play wouldn't have worked out.
Yeah, that was really well played from Global Clan. And into the second mid, Taz doing the same thing as he did last time, going into IT, gets a ton of damage onto Yosh early. That's going to cause a lot of delays there. Pineapple finally gets a lot of damage onto Taz, but Sora pushes him off. But Taz is now in behind. Here comes bombs from multiple soldiers. Quacks very low, is going to crater. Taz does get in behind, but Bear with some nice dodging does live. That's two soldiers down on the side of Global Clan. They do get a kill onto Alexandros, and they also get a kill onto Necro, but it's now 4-on-4. The health is actually pretty even, we'll see here, although a lot of damage actually going in favor of Global Clan, and Yosh is going to get picked off, and Fjord Gaming has to back out 3v4, and with the demo dead, we'll see if Global Clan elects to push this, but yeah, it looks like they're already getting aggressive into sewer with Quacks and Taz respawning.
Yeah, they're going so quick here. You can see here comes the bomb, and it's a lot of damage onto Kira. He's launched up into the sky, gets taken down. Very unfortunate for Global Clan, but really heads up play coming out from the F-150 squad. Now they are going to try and hold on to this point. The Taz is going to be spamming some rockets over through our team, maybe see if he can cause a distraction to allow someone else to get through, but they're just going to back up. Without your demo, it makes it so hard to really do anything to push or to hold on, so they're just going to retreat, wait for Kira to get back up and try and figure out a different way of getting in on to second. But that heads up play, that heads up bomb coming in onto the demo over onto Al-Qaeda was a really allowed F-150 to stay and hold on to second.
Yeah, getting rid of the demo can really allow your team to not get pressured off those heights so easily. Also, something to note, Yosh is on both Quickie Bombs and Lock and Load, so not going to have as many loaded, but those individual Quickies are generally going to be more effective than the individual default cities. Dank takes a bit of damage as this pressure comes in. Soar, I believe, eats a pipe. Yosh destroys Soar. Oh my goodness. And that's going to spell the retreat of Global Clan because they don't really want to lose anybody else. Here comes a bomb in from Alexandros. He is pretty low, but Dank is very safe. Nice surf from Dank. Deadly Seed also went in. Quacks gets both of those kills, and that's 5 versus 4. Here comes the repressure in from Global Clan.
Yeah, they're going to be making their way through sewer once again. This time they don't want to have their demo be taken down from a bomb. They're going to be slowly working their way in. Nice bomb from Taz, but Quacks gets taken down of Yosh with those pipes. You called it out, doing so much damage. And Necro getting onto Taz. Two really great picks from Global Clan, and onto Global Clan from F-150, so they're going to have to back up. They can maybe try and hold on to this, use the Uber to buy time for the respawners. A big bomb from Alexandros landing onto Perfection. probably going to get taken down, and he does so. With that one pick, Global Clan can be feeling a little bit more empowered to try and stay in here, and here comes the Uber from Perfection, going to get the counter force out from Bear. Nice pick on the Pineapple means that the picks are going to be in the favor of Global Clan. A second one, and it means that there's going to be no soldiers on the field, and Global Clan doing well to hold on the mid.
Yeah, I think the soldiers of Fjord just got a little too aggressive, or just got a little too caught, essentially. They didn't get the early force, but then they also died, which meant that since the fight took so long, it just allowed Global Clan to get spawners back up, and then they had that post-Uber advantage. Alexandros doing a little bit of poking and prodding. I think trying to go for some sort of counter sack while Perfection is dead, but no such luck there, as we do have Perfection onto the sniper, and it is still even Ubers with a gun going up on from Deadly Seed on the point. Both teams are building, but we'll see where Perfection elects to snipe from. Usually we'll see some lobby sniping, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see an early peek in one. Looks like they're still talking it out, figuring out what they want to do.
Yep, it's going to be all eyes on Perfection to try and hit some heads here. Seems like Necro is up on Spy and has decided to check it and has correctly read the situation that there is a sniper on field, so Perfection won't actually have the element of surprise that he might be anticipating. Yosh is already kind of peeking one. They might know that's where the sniper is. Pineapple taking a bit of damage over, trying to block those doorways. Quack's kind of trying to coordinate with the team while they pressure one. He comes in through roll and is actually doing really well to juggle Pineapple. He's going to have to be sent to the respawn room to get rebuffed and re-healed, as now the rest of the team work their way over into lobby, but Alexandros takes down Perfection as he tries to go for a deep peek over towards 5. That's going to be an opportunity for someone to get a little bit aggressive here. You can see Alexandros actually going to be busting his way out through a relic. Gets a lot of damage on one of his soldiers, but not enough to get the kill. That's going to be the counter sack. It's just going to be a reset.
Yeah, but with those late spawns, I wouldn't be surprised if Global Clan is going to pressure pretty aggressively right now. Yeah, they already have Perfection. He switched back to Scout. While that soldier is dead, they're going to probably try to get a really good sack in. Maybe they'll do an Uber exchange or 4-man, as Kira is already taking the heals, trying to pressure in on that 2-door, trying to get a little bit of a spam, but they actually get nothing. Actually, excuse me, Perfection's on Spy. Taz gets a kill onto Necro on Sniper. That's going to be big, along with the fact that Perfection is on Spy in Heaven here. Global Clan has a bunch of players rushing through the other side on the 5-door. They're getting a lot of space. Deadly gets Perfection. Or Deadly Seed gets a Spy on Perfection. Yeah, just not a successful stab, and that's going to spell the retreat of Global Clan, although Alexandros is in behind, but he's not able to get any damage onto Dane.
Yeah, Taz is going to be taken down over in lobby, and now with 3 picks, this is an opportunity for F150 to try and push out. You can see Pineapple jumping forward, getting some great damage onto Tank, is going to force out the Uber, but Bear is also extremely weak as well. Sword trying to once again maybe try and threaten the back cap, is going to force everyone on F150 back, and a nice bomb doing so much damage onto the combo of F150 is going to force them back onto last, and what was a really great opportunity. Global Clan played that perfectly, bought time for their spawners, kind of diverted the attention from everyone on F150, forced out the Uber, and has been able to remain in the driver's seat, keep hold of second, and now it is going to be the exact same situation we've been in M1, but this time there's only less than a minute left on the clock, and Pineapple is in behind.
Yeah, Soar and excuse me, Quacks are in. Quacks gets a kill onto Deadly Seed. Yosh trades that out. Taz gets a kill onto Necro. Tons of kills trading out, but this is definitely favoring Global Clan. Although, as I say that, they did lose a couple of players. It looks like they were doing a 4-person sack, a 4-man sack there, which you normally see on KOF, but they're going to get the med kill onto Bear, and that's going to mean that with the recap from Fjord, Global Clan is going to have a nice Uber at and a decent amount of time to be able to, retake this fight. Just some passive spam here from the side of Fjord. They're just trying to wait and try to make sure that Global Clan has to earn every single inch of space that they want to take on second before they can really get into last. Finally, Global Clan is starting to pressure in through sewer. They're taking it very slow. Alexandros is going to do a bomb, but fades away, not trying to commit. Pineapple just spamming, is going to eventually try to get out, but he's actually going to get caught in by Taz, and that's one early kill, and here comes Global Clan going in fast with a 30% Uber at it.
Yeah, they're going straight in, going to be taking it in. They don't have to use just quite yet, but Bear is actually very, very close to his own Uber charge, already at 97%. So if they don't worry, it could happen right now, and it does. They are going to be able to use the Uber. Can they catch anyone here? Kira is extremely weak. Necro going to find that one, finds another onto Quacks, and just in the nick of time, they've been able to save themselves. Oh, that was almost Such an insane air shot onto Bear. It doesn't end up happening, but the vision was there. Everyone, however, wipes on Global Clan, trying to go for that Uber push. Really great building and kind of delaying coming out from F-150 to give themselves enough time to get that Uber, and they're going to be able to defend last and get on to second, and even better, M1. They've got a little 40% Uber advantage to work with on the mid if they so choose.
Yeah, but important to note here is that Soar is on Sniper in the forward spawn. He's just going to be scoping up, probably just trying to get a charge shot onto that medic just to, you know, either create the force or just delay Fjord as they try to walk into mid here. Yeah, Taz is trying to do a little bit of hide in Heaven there earlier, but anyways, we have Necro getting through here with his combo. They do see the Sniper. They still don't have though. They actually went a little bit early. Here comes the bomb from Quacks, and they're just going to have to end up using... Yosh goes crazy aggressive. He actually traps Dank in.
Oh my god.
And he gets the kill onto Dank and onto Perfection. Oh my goodness, what a bomb. And the rest of his team is able to clean everything up. He's got Necro there to protect him from Soar, who's trying to get in, and is going to get cleaned up by Yosh anyways. Never mind. Quacks went in behind as well, but he's going to go down to Deadly Seed. Huge bomb from Yosh. What a push. And Fjord is going to be in the driver's seat with a 30% Uber ad and players.
Oh yeah, Yosh just sent it there, and he was able to make it work. In the driver's seat is correct. Oh, that is so unfortunate for Taz. Pineapple with a long-range spam rocket over towards one is going to be able to clean up the soldier. And with that, there's going to be one less person trying to stuff these doorways. It's going to be a huge motioning. They're just barreling in, collapsing on everyone. Pineapple getting two. Now they're standing on point. There's only two up to trying to defend Dank and Perfection. And Perfection is good, but he's not that perfect. He's not going to be able to hold off that one. So it's going to be 1-1, a tie game. And, you know, we were not quite certain how this game was going to go. I don't think we thought it was going to be a roll, but it's looking like we got a very good competitive game on our hands, M1.
Yeah, I'm hoping it stays this back and forth because this is actually pretty fun to see some just interesting. You know, I did not expect like the crazy bomb from Yosh all the way into the enemy choke, but we have another mid fight going on. Yosh is pretty low on this mid too. That might hurt Fjord's chances here. Here comes a bomb from the roamers on both team, or a soldier on both team, and there's players low on both sides here. Global Clan loses 2. Fjord only loses 1. They have that soldier advantage. Alexandros is still alive, and Global Clan just decides to retreat off of that 1 soldier advantage. And yeah, Fjord's already going aggressive right now. Their combos in sewer. They got Alexandros in IT. He is spotted early, but just trying to distract to get some sort of play opened up. And yeah, just seeing if they can get anything. Here comes the bomb in from Alexandros. Dank actually gets
Oh my god.
Very awkwardly spaced. It gets rocketed into a little bit of odd geometry, and that's going to mean that's a full Uber ad on the side of Fjord.
Yeah, really, really great play from F-150 to be able to do that on to Dank. Did exactly what they needed to do, got the Uber advantage, backed up, didn't commit more players than necessary. Now, they're going to have their own. Question is, what do they do with it? Are they just going to complete send it like they did last time? Maybe have Yosh go in as deep as possible, or are they going to try and milk it? Seems like they are just trying to take as much space as they can for free, and a pick on the Taz is basically going to seal the deal, as they don't really have to worry about any other soldier trying to go for something. Quacks is not there to really be a threat, so they're going to be able to take second, and Dank is already at 70%, and just a little bit more time might be able to do it. But Soar with the headshot onto Bear, and that's going to completely derail everything. Now both soldiers are going to fly high and try to see if they can maybe do something similar onto Dank. Alexandros up on the high ground, get some rake rockets onto Dank. Is going to be able to get the force, but the damage has already been done. All that momentum from F-150 completely stopped. The truck has been halted. Really great headshot from Soar.
Yeah, and even though Bear spawned before that Uber ended on the side of Global Clan because nobody else on his team was alive, it's going to be even Ubers. That looked really bad for Global Clan, but huge play there from Soar. Global Clan is now trying to fight here. Taz is taking a fight with Alexandros in the other side on sewer. Alexandros gets that kill. Pineapple actually flubs a little bomb there, is going to take a lot of damage. Very low, is 9 HP. Is maybe going to get saved by his team. He is going to get saved by his team, and since Taz is down, Global Clan is going to leave, but they're going to lose Perfection, excuse me, as they're leaving, and Alexandros is already trying to keep that pressure up so that Fjord can get something. Quacks goes for a bomb. Goomba's Alexandros with the rocket. That's going to cause him to back up, but here goes Alexandros. He's right back in, dies to Soar, but they do get the Uber exchange, but Baird actually doesn't have Uber. They're only 95%.
only 95%, and is going to be able to back up. That was really deadly seed coming in from behind, getting the damage onto Dank, found another onto Taz, but they are going to be at player disadvantage, F-150 at the moment, so they are going to have to give up mid, at least for the meantime. They do have 100%, so they're just going to wait for some of the respawners. Actually, they're going to go even without deadly seed there and try and retake mid. They weren't able to block the cap coming out from Global Clan, so they are going to have to recapture mid, which is going to be good for Global Clan. That means there's more time off the clock and more time for them to try and build their own Uber and not get mid to last it themselves. So they're going to be able to capture it up, and now F-150 working their way forward, trying to see if they can take the second point for free.
Yeah, and they already have a lot of space here. Here comes the bomb from Quacks. It looks like he just does not want to commit. There is a soldier in too aggressive there. That's Alexandros, but he's not going to go for anything huge. And now the Ubers have evened out, so we're going to see a nice classic hold on last. Sword does not have time for a gun again, and he's going to go right back on Sniper because it worked well last time, I'm assuming. So yeah, it's up to Fjord to try to get something done. It's going to be a little awkward with the Sniper, but also that means there isn't an extra, you know, normal 6s class holding down those doors. And no sentry gun or heavy even, so it might be a little bit easier to get those bombs, but as I say that, actually Sword decides to swap onto the heavy because there's no time for that gun. And I think Fjord is still discussing what they really want to do. Yeah, they're still figuring that out. Eventually they'll make a decision, as Alexandros is going to skip into heaven. He's taking a fight with Taz, is going to win it. Necro gets a kill into Quacks. That's 5v4, and even though Yosh is very low, that big pick might help them pressure. There's a bit of fighting going in here in lobby. Bear gets piped. Necro's trying to get saved by Bear as he's fighting around, but I think with all that damage, Global Clan had to slow down a little. Actually, as I say that, they were able to get some space in with their flank via 1, and they're trying to pressure out Sword. There's a lot of damage here on the side of Global Clan.
Yeah, Sword is doing so well just to try and stay alive and be a threat, because even with a 2-player advantage like that, or a 1-player advantage technically, because a player did go down on a Ford, just that heavy is such a threat, because you're like, I want to fight him. We got the player advantage. We should be going in here. And unlike a sentry gun, which you can just kind of spam down from a distance, can't really do the same with a heavy. You know, he is slow, but he can move, and also just arrow tanking is so powerful. So not able to make anything work with that, I think large part due to that heavy just being such a risk factor, as now the soldiers going to be coming in, trying to be a little bit of a bomb. It's actually going to be bombing onto the combo players instead of the medic, but they're not finding anything at all, trying to take a page out of Global Clan's book, try and go for the 4-man or 3-man sack. Not working out. They just gave up 3 bodies, didn't get the 4, so that is going to be enough for Global Clan to say thank you very much. We will get out of our last. We'll go on to second, and might even try and pressure mid.
Yeah, and they denied their spawners, so they're trying to go early. Taz and Sor are through IT quickly. There's also Deadly Seed up on Sniper, does body shot Taz down, who was taken down low by the rest of his team. And that is a player ad for, for Fjord. But it is a sniper player ad, which means they're going to have to probably use that sniper if they want to get something done. There's a lot of aggression here on the side of Global Clan from the soldiers just trying to get this sniper. Quacks does get a kill to Yosh, which is huge. The sniper is still alive, though, which is going to create a lot of pressure. Dank very low, just takes a ton of damage and gets forced by Pineapple. And that's an early force, and I don't know if they're going to really feel comfortable pushing back in. Taz is trying to go in early, takes a nice body shot for his troubles. Sor went in as well, but he's not going to commit to anything. And they're just going to play this passively as Fjord gathers their players and re-pushes into mid and eventually second with this Uber.
That's such an unfortunate position to be in. Just trying to sack and kind of force the med out. Also going into a sniper as well, because that means that you really can't have your vital members of the combo peek too aggressively for you or with you and really help you get that force out, because just you peek a little bit too much and that sniper gets the headshot and all of a sudden you're down. So it puts a lot of pressure on the soldiers to really make something happen there. Not able to make it work, so they're just gonna have to back up. And now here comes the Uber from F-150, but a headshot onto Dank almost immediately might seal the deal, as there's gonna be no medic up. They find both soldiers, Quacks and Taz, being taken down. Very weak Perfection, just trying to dodge and stay alive, not gonna be able to make things work. And they've got such a big player advantage. He does get 1, gets 2 actually, might be able to try to hold in things in. Sword just dancing on the point, but Yosh with a nice pipe is going to seal the deal, makes it 2-1, and Fjord taking the lead of this game.
Yeah, really well played. And Sword just did not have enough time to get up a gun, so that defense was not that strong. And Deadly Seed with a nice pick, just denying those heals allows you to just take a nice slow fight and slowly work your heal advantage and grab picks and eventually start winning and pressuring the point, right? Here we're gonna go into this next mid. Looks like both teams are sitting pretty passive at the start, just like we expect, though this time the health is pretty even. A lot of players from Global Clan on this left side. Here comes a bomb from Quacks, and is just going to fade away. Is kind of caught in a 2v1, but somehow gets a kill onto Pineapple. He is going to finally go down. Yosh gets a kill into Perfection. It's now 5v4 in favor of Fjord, and the teams are on the opposite side, so Global Clan is in a really awkward spot, and they're down one player. They might have to build up their Uber here and then use to potentially get themselves out. Kira goes down to Yosh. This is looking really bad for Global Clan. Taz is going to go down. It's now just Sora and Dank does not have it. He's going to die at 97. And that's a full wipe from Global Clan. Fjord with the full Uber ad pushing into last. Perfection was trying to look for something, isn't going to commit, but he is getting chased anyways by the scouts, and Alexandros leads him up too. Looking really good for Fjord here.
It is looking exceptionally good for Fjord, and they're already making their way in onto last. Alexandros overcharged 5, almost got sore in the respawn room, as now they're going to be bombing in already onto the point. They got so much cap time, just trying to clean house Necro on a 5k at the moment, just pumping out damage. Same thing with Yosh, and that is going to be 3-1. And while the beginning of this match was, kind of slow, pretty back and forth, it really seems like Fjord are they're built tough, and they're starting to run away with it a little bit, M1.
Yeah, I took a little peek, and it looks like at the mid-round logs, or the mid-match logs, excuse me, Yosh is doing a lot of damage compared to everybody else in the server. We'll see how that, if Global Clan is able to stop him from continuing to do so much damage. Taz rolls back out into IT this time, gets a bit of early spam, but Deadly Seed actually just rolls out IT late himself and gets the kill onto Taz. That's a 6v5 in favor of Fjord. They don't really have a great spot here, and they're just going to have to back up. Kira gets caught as well. That's now down a demo and a soldier. The impending push from Fjord is going to be instantaneous, as Pineapple is already in, trying to get a shot onto Sora. He gets a lot of damage, and I think Sora's going to get... He almost got caught there. He is going to manage to get his way out and get saved by the bow from Dank, but it's going to be an even Uber situation on last, and Fjord is really in the driver's seat here, and it's definitely Global Clan on the back foot.
They indeed are. Now they're going to be able to capture it up. Luckily for Global Clan, they were able to keep Dank alive, so it is going to be even Ubers and a little bit of time for Global Clan to try and reset, figure out where things are going, why things are happening the way they are. But immediately you see Deadly Seed and Alexandros rushing in through 5. They get even trade, so it's going to be pretty all right if you are them. But Quacks over and behind doing a lot of damage on the combo, not enough to get the kill, but Kira coming in takes down Yosh, so no demo for Fjord. They're still feeling a little bit confident here to try and take this 3v3. They're kind of rocking in. Pineapple going to be going in for a bomb, maybe an opportunity onto Dank, but I don't think he's hit a rocket onto the medic. Dank, with some expert dodging, being able to stay alive there. It was a good opportunity, but just not the execution. But there is someone else who might be trying to go for something a little bit sneakier, M1. We have a Deadly Seed up on the Spy, and there's kind of been two standout players in my eyes from the F-150 squad. You've had Yosh just pumping out a lot of damage, but you've also got Deadly Seed, but this is not going to be one of those times, unfortunately. Oh my, insane. Perfection on the Pineapple.
That was some crazy, that looked crazy from Taz. It's like you didn't even see him, and then he just absolutely destroyed him. That was fascinating, but it's now player ad for the side of Global Clan, so they're going to keep trying to pressure Alexandros with a bomb to try to really keep them locked in. Kira is pretty low, and Perfection also got low, so Global Clan has to back out. Perfection does get a kill onto Pineapple again, and that's going to mean that Global Clan is going to be sitting pretty for now. I guess Perfection tries to walk out and take a hero shot. It's not going to work out, though. He doesn't even get enough time to get this shot off because Bear is safely tucked away behind the point. And Taz actually very aggressive on the left, gets bowed, saved by Dank. And it's now 5 versus 5, although there is a player spawning. And Quacks went in behind. He thought he had an opportunity from 2 onto Bear, but he's not going to get that. And now it's 2 down for Global Clan.
Is two down, and maybe an opportunity for a little bit of pressure cooking from the Fjord squad as it kind of posted up in all of these entranceways, just trying to get the spam, take down the sentry gun. They've got Deadly Seed and Alexandros over towards one, kind of in, but Perfection body shots Deadly Seed down, so they're just going to back up. Alexandros is also extremely weak, a lot of weak players actually on Fjord, so they're just going to back up, get re-healed, and try and go again. A minute 30 on the round timer before we head into a round reset. So they've got time to try and go for some sacks, but a soldier over in lobby takes down Pineapple. It's a bit lucky for Fjord because that could have been Yoshi, who's also in the same vicinity, but is going to be able to get away scot-free. Perfection so deep over in 5 is just going to back up. He's been kind of on fire on the sniper class so far, but has been trying to look for Bear, who, like you said, is still posted very deep behind the point. Perfection over towards 1, just can back up, but somehow Alexandros gets in on the Quack's Necro, coming in, doing a lot of damage, actually forces out the Uber from Global Clan, and this is going to be really, really good for Fjord Gaming.
Yeah, that was looking so weird because Fjord, like, it looked like they were distracted because Yosh wasn't fighting when Taz was getting caught, Taz was just caught in lobby by himself. But they ended up getting that nice force. They're already coming in on last. Dank safely tucked away in heaven. A little bit of a miscoordination here, I think, from Fjord, but they are just going to get so much cap time because everybody else on the side of Global Clan is in spawn, and that's 4-1 in favor of Fjord. And Global Clan has got to turn this around if they want to, make sure they have a chance in this game.
100% agree. They've got to try and make something work, and I think a lot of what we've been seeing have been the mids. I mean, the round that Global Clan won, it was because Taz had a very great bomb immediately onto Bear going into IT, but that play has kind of been sniffed out a little bit, so he's going to have to try and figure things out and maybe change their game plan as they're going to be out on the mid. Taz over in his own IT. No soldiers going for the committal just quite yet. They're getting a lot of damage. Perfection is going to go down. Here comes the bomb around. Alexander's just managing to stay alive. Pineapple jumping for space as well. Getting great damage on the sword. Finds the pick as he escapes through IT. And that is going to be another mid one for Fjord Gaming.
Yeah, and down 2 scouts, which means the soldiers are going to be almost completely unopposed. They are going crazy aggressive onto Fjord. Dank with some incredible dodging, though, gets himself out to last safely, even with 2 soldiers on it with no scouts, while he was still on second. That was quite impressive, and now he's just going to safely back his team out onto last, and it's going to be even Uber, so they are going to be able to hold this because they have scouts now. And yeah, it's going to go back to that last pull, although as I say that, this is Global Clan in a really awkward spot. Actually, they looked like they were trying to get aggressive, trying to go for some sort of push right now, but I think they decide, yeah, they just decide to cancel it. They're already on their own last with, 1 round away from losing this match, so you got to be very careful with what they do.
Yep, 1 round away, but they've got a lot of time to work with. Obviously, continuous overtime. It is going to be a 5-something game, which we didn't think it was. I think we both thought it was going to be a lower score line than 5-something, but we've been proven wrong by the kind of pace that Fjord Gaming have been able to put out in this game. Now they're trying to close it out here. They're peeking over into last. Alexander taking a lot of damage over towards 1 in a scrap with Quacks. Both just going to have to back up and get healed. Neither one winning, neither losing. So they're just going to be happy to get re-healed and go again. But no off classes coming in from the enemy. Alexander is just going to be bombing in. It does manage to take down the sentry gun, but nothing more than that. So it seems like no counter sack for Global Clan. So it's just going to be an opportunity for F150 to have them respawn and maybe try and get a little bit creative here.
Yeah, so we're getting that gun back up, and Alexandros on the sniper this time, just switching it up, I think, maybe trying to get some different perspectives on how to use sniper. Yosha's going to take a bit of early damage, but going to heal up, and they're going to slowly work their way right back into lobby. Necro just safely clearing the stickies for his team. It looks like they're still discussing what they really want to do. Okay, Alexandros is by himself in 1. He gets the shot onto Quacks. Very nice. And that's going to create a lot of instability here on the side of Global Clan. They don't have 3 explosives. Alexander's going for a crazy aggro peek, and he's not going to get killed somehow. Kira gets 2, though. Excuse me. He gets 1 onto Alexandros and Necro, and that's going to allow them to get very aggressive here on the side of Global Clan. Perfection going for a very aggressive peek through the upper lobby area here. Not going to go for anything, and actually Pineapple tried to go in aggressively. Taz does get the kill there. Perfection is still alive, taking shots. Bear does stay behind the point, but because he's behind that point, he can't see Taz coming in and has to force early. and now it's Uber Disad for the side of Fjord, and Global Clan can safely push out once they get their players set up and ready to, ready to push off this big Uber ad.
Yeah, they do have a very big Uber ad, but it is still pretty risky because, like you said, they are 1 round away from losing this in a back cap. We've already seen happen once, and Alexandros trying to go in through 2, but he's met by resistance, and I think he should be taken down. Actually, might be able to get out and does so as everyone else on Fjord just runs in. They take down Perfection Yosh with some really great pipes to get him. Dank, extremely weak, might be able to get out, but can the same be said for everyone else? Both Alexandros and Pineapple going to be taken down bombing. They do so much damage, but I don't think anyone's going to be able to clean up on it. And what was actually looking like a really great repush from Fjord Gaming has not materialized in control of the second point. It's still going to be Global Clan managing to push out. That was looking extremely dicey for them, especially once Perfection had fallen, but they were able to hold on. But it is going to be Uber advantage for F150 here.
Yeah, Soldiers on Global Clan doing a great job delaying there to allow Dank to get everybody healed up, but yeah, that Uber ad is going to make things a little bit tough. Quacks does go for another Fade Bomb, not really going to go for anything, although Alexandra snuck his way in through IT, and Taz is going to get caught out. Now it's a player ad on the side of Fjord, although Dank is very close to Uber, so this is going to make this a little bit easier for them to hold. But there's no soldier watching on this right side, on this side of over here by 5, and Necro's already worked his way almost into heaven, although there is an early use from the side of Fjord. Perfection does get a kill into Alexandros, and now it's a 5-on-5, and Global Clan is trying to chase Fjord out. They pick off Necro, but the rest of his team is going to be able to get out. But Fjord is down 2, so this might be tough for them to hold. I wonder if, looks like Global Clan is trying to bust their way out here through 1. Bit of spam going down for both teams. Just a bit of a chaotic fight here. A lot of kills, or no kills really going out, but finally, as I say that, 2 kills on each side. Yosh and Alexandros trade for Perfection and Quacks, but with a demo dead, this looks maybe a little bit favorable for Global Clan, but it looks like they don't even want to push that. They're just going to elect to play it evens.
Yeah, they are going to slow the game down, which, they've got every right to do as, we're in continuous overtime. Deadly Scene get a little bit explorative over in IT. Is just going to back up instead. Doesn't really want to take that 1v1 unless necessary. So F150, they're going to be content to have things slow down as well because, like you said, they were down the demo. So they're maybe at risk of being pushed on to mid, but now they're going to be the ones trying to push over on to second. Once again, making their way over into sewer. They got their demo posted up towards Alcada, just going to try and coordinate some spam, maybe find some type of opening to get in onto Dank. Here comes Quacks actually with a very aggressive bomb. Just going to jump in, jump out. Both scouts extremely deep, trying to get onto the demo. Well, the medic right there actually used, but don't save Yosh. That's going to be Yosh dropped from the Uber. They're going to bomb in, try and see if they can get onto Dank. Dank hasn't, but now it finally does pop once all of those players come in. Pineapple and Alexandros and Necro all going in extremely deep to get that force out from Dank. Necro staying in alive is eventually going to fall, just trying to buy a little bit of time for the team, but the damage was already done. Basically everyone falling on Fjord Gaming and Global Clan pushing their way onto mid.
Yeah, but I think crucially Necro went behind, and the 2 players, the scout and the soldier on the side of Global Clan, did chase, and that gave Bear enough time to safely get out. Just Kira on mid was not able to be enough to chase the medic. There's a bit of fighting going on here. Dank catches a pipe. Yosh gets multiple pipes, tons of damage, and that's going to allow re-pressure in here from Fjord. And Kira doesn't really have any stickies up on choke yet either, so he finally does get some set up, but it's not going to be enough maybe to hold them off, although I think Fjord is really hesitant. They don't really want to go for anything. They were just posturing, but they did not decide to go for anything, even with that player ad. They're just going to back up, and it's back to an even Uber situation here with now Global Clan in the driver's seat because they have mid, but they're still down 4 rounds, and remember, we're in continuous overtime, so this match will end when one team gets to 5 rounds.
Yep, it will, as we have the kind of the factor that's going to try and decide that. Perfection up on Sniper. is going to be super far away from any danger. He's just looking at that choke area, trying to see if maybe someone on F-150 gets a little bit too far forward and gets into his sight line. Might be able to catch one of the soldiers if he's fortunate as they bomb over towards Al-Qaeda. Alexander's doing so much damage again onto Kira, hits him with a nice wall shot, and Pineapple going in deep is going to be able to get the force out onto Dank. So really great play from both soldiers on Fjord Gaming. Quack's just trying to see if he can do anything at all. Gets piped by Yosh. That's not going to be what he wants to happen. Perfection is still up on Sniper, might be able to get the shot out onto Bear if he's lucky, but Fjord in a good position anyways.
Oh my
god!
Oh my goodness, Dank saved Perfection with the bow, and Perfection just absolutely domes Deadly Seed. And that's not going to be enough, I don't think, to prevent Fjord from just taking this. They do only have 3 players, but they have that nice Uber ad, and Pineapple gets in to help his team, although here's the aggressive Uber. It looks like they're not going to get much, maybe. Kira's doing a nice job of juggling them in, but Quacks is caught behind. They're probably going to take that pick into Suror, although as I say that, Quacks is still alive, and Global Clan is working their way right back in. Quacks with a nice bomb, and actually gets a huge pick.
That was a huge pick. Quacks being able to stay alive behind, and Fjord were a little bit distracted with everyone else pushing in. Now Necro tries to come in. Yosh as well, trying to see if they can do anything to get onto Dank, but it's not going to happen. Really a great protection services coming out from everyone on Global Clan to make sure Dank stays alive, and Quacks, that play absolutely guaranteeing his team both mid and probably second as well, but Deadly Seed is up on Sniper, trying to do what Perfection has done and get a nice cheeky shot. Not going to be able to make that happen. Elite's right there is going to peek over towards one, but doesn't see the medic. Just going to back up. It's going to be very big Uber advantage for Global Clan. An opportunity for them to get their second round on the board.
Yeah, but importantly, they do have a sniper, which is going to make this push a little bit harder for them. They are going to use through 4. They're able to kill that gun pretty quickly. There are traps on point. Soar's already getting some cap time, a lot of cap time out, and he is still going to live. Perfection with a nice shot onto Alexandros. Bunch of picks going through, and they're just going to finish off the cap time, and that's a second round on the side of Global Clan. They were just able to quickly get a ton of cap time onto that point, and that just forced Fjord to do a lot of aggressive bombing and just pushing onto that point, because you can't let your last point get capped, right, or else you lose the round, and Global Clan was able to safely abuse it, and we're into this next mid.
We are. If Global Clan want to win this match, they have got to figure out something on these mids, because even that last round, Fjord Gaming won the mid, and we saw how long it took Global Clan to recover from that. Now, Soar, over on the high ground, just going to be trying to deny any soldiers, as it's just going to be Perfection, and Alexander's jumping around. Here comes the big bomb from Pineapple, landing over towards IT. Taz going to be circling around, and Pineapple is in sewer, might be trying to go for something here, but they are going to be rotating towards the enemy team's IT. Taz jumping forward, getting some good damage onto Yosh. Yosh taking a little bit. No one falling so far in this fight, but so much more damage being put out onto the Global Clan squad. Quacks and Soar both going to fall, and now they're on the wrong side of the map. Oh my god, Yosh just hitting miracle pipes, and it's only going to be Kira and Dank. They're using Uber, and oh my god, Kira is getting sent to the skybox. I don't think Dank. Oh, Pineapple with the spoon. That's just insult to injury, and right now, if you are Ford, if you're the F-150 squad, if you're built tough, this is your map, your round to lose.
Yeah, Global Clan just lost control of the high ground. They just gave up way too much high ground space, and then all of that, letting Soar get picked and all that damage, and that just turned into all of that absolute roller coaster there as soon as, or excuse me, more like a train as soon as one player went down. But that Uber advantage is still going to be 80%. Here comes the aggressive Uber. Yosh does get juggled a bit by Taz, which is going to help delay this, but Necro gets a ton of cap time, does get flashed, and is going to get even more cap time, and it's just going to cap right under the noses of Global Clan. And that is it. Global Clan is going to lose, but Fjord is going to safely win this 5-2 in their first match on Process.
Yep. Really great stuff coming out from Fjord Gaming, taking it 5-2. I gotta admit, I didn't think they were gonna win, but they absolutely looked so in control throughout the majority of that. And a lot of it came down to the mids. They only lost one mid, which was because of Taz's really great bomb on the first one onto Bear. Outside of that, they just had a better game plan on what to do. Even when everyone on Global Clan tried to go aggressive. Even when Taz was kind of going in through IT, they were able to figure things out and adapt really, really well. And also, you just got to say, Yosh was just pumping out some insane amount of damage that made it extremely hard for everyone to contest. We've heard people kind of being a little bit angry about the lock and load. Are we going to see a similar kind of debate about the Quickie Bomb launcher if it continues to be annoying? But at least for the meantime, Yosh, your top damager, 326, 26 and 8 M1, which is a stat you'd normally see reserved for like a pocket scout or a flank scout. Yosh was absolutely demolishing the field.
Yeah, that's what I saw earlier in the round when it was 3-1 in favor of Fjord. Yosh was 18-4 with almost double damage dealt than he took. So that's when I was like noticing that. But yeah, I mean, just letting your demo do that much, or letting the enemy team demo do that much, is just not going to help you. Sora was playing pretty well as well, but besides that, it looks pretty expected from most of the players, although it looked like Kira wasn't having such a fun time there. But besides that, it looked pretty expected. I mean, only one drop on the side of Bear, and Dank had maybe one extra death. But yeah, something you also mentioned was the mid fights. Those first two mids went in favor of Global Clan, and then the next 5 mids all went in favor of Fjord. So it looked like Global Clan just had no answer to how Fjord adapted.
Yeah, so really great stuff from Fjord. I also do want to say, like you said, Dank, fact that he only died one more time and it was a 5-2 loss, and his team lost basically every single mid means that he was able to stay alive. And we saw a lot of really great surfs from him as well to be able to keep his team in it for as long as possible. But unfortunately, it just wasn't enough to be able to keep them competitive. But on the other side, really great stuff from Fjord Gaming, being able to come in here, take the 5-2 victory, and get themselves a little bit closer to that kind of fourth spot and making their way into playoffs and heading over towards LAN, which is probably the goal for the majority of these teams this season. Some people said at the beginning of the season, the season it's looking slim. It's looking dry. Are there even going to be any good teams? But I think we've got a solid season on our hands, M1, and I think it's going to be a very exciting race, both for the top three and also who can cinch that fourth spot for playoffs.
Yeah, I am curious to see because I would have expected Global Clan to be the favorites there, but I mean, it's a great showing from Fjord, and that means that if Global Clan wants to make it to LAN, they're going to have to, I mean, they're going to have to first of all win their other matchup against Fjord later in the season, most likely, unless they get some crazy wins against the other top three teams. And then, they're also still going to have to be consistent and not lose too badly against those other top three teams. Because not only do the wins matter, but it also can matter how many rounds you win or lose. If you get steamrolled really fast against the top three opponents, those round wins are going to add up pretty quickly, and then it's going to be really difficult to make up a big round win deficit when you have to face some other, still some strong competition in invite.
Yep. Speaking of strong competition, we have got a what should be a very, very good match coming up on Thursday. It's going to be Mama's Boys versus Froyotech, which is something I'm extremely excited for. Any of the top three matchups I think are going to be really, really good. But obviously, Mama's Boys, I'm not sure what classes they're actually on. They got a lot of all classers that can play a lot of different roles on that squad. You've got Skis making their return. Skis is returning. Like, what's up with that? That's insane. So you should watch that match just for Skis at the bare minimum. Also, Froyotech, they're kind of in an off-class season as well. I think Habib is on Scout. I don't know what everyone else is rocking, but it should be a very fun game. It should be a very exciting game. Anytime those kind of groups of players match up against each other, doesn't even really matter what classes they're on. You just know it's going to be a really great, fun match. And it's also going to be on Bagel. So, I mean, what more could you really ask for? That's going to be coming up on Thursday. And of course, we're going to have other matches coming up throughout the season as we cover RGL season 18. But that's going to be it for us here tonight. Any final words or any shout outs you want to give, M1?
Yeah, of course, shout outs to, of course, Dolphin on production. Thank you as always. Production always the unsung hero, but thanks to everyone watching. That was a great first match to watch, and I'm hoping for some, definitely some more upsets this season. I can't wait to see some really great matches. Yeah, anything from you?
Yeah, of course, shout outs to you, M1. It's really great to be able to cast with you tonight. Obviously, Dolphin, amazing, does so much behind the scenes and getting everything, prepped and organized. Obviously, shout outs to the teams for playing. Without them, there'd be no match to watch. And shout outs to you guys over in chat, because without you, there'd be no reason to cast this. We'd be just casting to no one at all. So, obviously, really great stuff. It's been an amazing first match, and we're going to have some more coming up for the rest of the season. Obviously, shouts to the RGL merch. Don't know if we have a graphic, but it's out there, so buy it, check it out. Some really great stuff. Aside from that, that's going to be it for us tonight. You just watched Global Clan versus Fjord Gaming. Fjord winning 5-2 on Process. Come back Thursday for a very exciting match. Until then, have a good night.